Good evening, everybody. Like Simon, I don't have any slides to show you, but there's so much to get across in such a short space of time, so we can all open up this to questions, which I think will be far more valuable to you. But a bit about me: I was made redundant in '92. I worked in conference event production. I decided to take control of my own destiny, wanted to get into making product, and wanted to run my own business. Didn't like shaving. My girlfriend had dry skin, used a bath oil. I shaved with it, gummed up my razor, but I didn't get razor burn, and set off on this journey to create a shaving product that worked for me. And on the basis it worked for me, it would work for millions and perhaps tens of millions and perhaps hundreds of millions of other people. And I had no idea how big Gillette was. I didn't know it was a $57 billion business. Ignorance was bliss. In '93, the internet didn't exist. In fact, CompuServe had only just come along. But I basically set off, created this product. My first job was selling ad space, so I had no problem picking up the phone, making up to 220 sales calls a day to decision makers to try and sell them a bit of blank paper, and got the product into Harrods, then into Boots, hand-filled these 10,000 bottles, and 16 years on have now built a brand with great foundations in terms of men's grooming in the UK, with a #2 selling brand behind Gillette now. This time last year, in fact this day last year, we launched our Azor system Razor. Everybody, all the marketing pundits said, well, there's no chance he'll go anywhere with it. He'll lucky to get 1% or so of market share, etc., etc. But what they didn't realise was where Gillette had dialed themselves into from a market position, selling the most at the most expensive and having a massive market cap, and then being followed by Chic Wilkinson Sword. It's a very weak #2 follower. That's Chic, by the way. It's Chic in America and Wilkinson here. But as I stand here chatting to you today, we've got 10% handle market share. We launched in Japan 2 weeks ago. I'm off to America on Monday to launch in the US, then on to Sao Paulo to launch in Brazil. I'll come on to Brazil in a moment, and then to South Africa. So the King of Shave story, it's quite well documented. There's quite a lot of archives and press articles and blogs, and if you Google King of Shaves, and you can read all about it. So I don't really want to dwell too much on that. What I do want to go through is some things that I've learnt over the past 16 years, because I'm quite old in the game, I guess. It's sort of Simon and I are up for the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year award, and it's taken me 16 years to get into that sort of space. But there's a number of things that you can take away from this evening, which are very easy and keep to heart. And the first one is the Harvard Rule of 4. Does anybody know what that rule is here? Harvard Rule of 4? Okay, it's very simple. Nobody has it. Everybody will have it. It's price for profit and it's price for sale. So where King of Shaves was concerned, we started off with a shaving oil. We then developed tubed shaving gels with aloe. Our system Razor didn't have 15 blades and 2 batteries and headlights and cost you £32 to buy and a mortgage to do the replacement cartridges. And that sort of behaviour, that ZAG behaviour as I call it, and there's a great book called ZAG, well worth the read. But that Harvard Rule of 4, nobody has it. Everybody will have it, i.e. the product's got to be great, as Love Film is, for example. I mean, who'd have guessed it with Blockbuster and big dogs like that being in the space and Simon coming in and blowing up that business model there. Fantastic. Price for profit, we talked about that, and price for sale. You've then got what I call my space strategy, which is very simple. It's all about the personal parts to you that you have to have on a day-by-day basis. And you need to keep these very close to you, because the only person who's going to keep you going is you. There's no iron team, and that's right, but there is an iron leader. And the guys here, we're all founders or CEOs of our business, and we've got to look after ourselves as much as look after the many people who rely on us for their mortgages, for their performance pay packets, etc. So I've got this little strategy. It's called SPACE, and SPACE stands for the satisfaction of success, passion and persistence, the attitude of action, confidence and common sense, and community, which I'll come on to as well, and then enthuse, exceed, enjoy. And I came up with this when I was asked to talk at a number of events. I normally talk at like educational ones. So I was here on Thursday talking to economics teachers brought in from across the UK. But the satisfaction of success, it's very, very hard to get a business momentum. You've got to rock your boulder out of the hollow it's sitting in. You've got to hope that it's at the top of a hill. And when you've kept on rocking it forwards and backwards over a period of time, whether it's months, years, or 5 years, it took us 5 years to turn a profit on sales of $1,250,000, it then starts going. Now, in all of that time, you've got to keep yourself going. And you've got to reward yourself in little ways along the way. You've got to feel you're moving forwards every day. And the only way you can do that is taking good things out of what's happening each week, as well as the negativity. There's lots of no's out there, but occasionally there'll be a yes. When you get a yes, go and buy yourself a crunchy, chew on your crunchy, go for a walk with your dog, have a think about what you're going to do with your business, and reward yourself. Because it's very hard what you're doing in these sort of early doors times. Passion and persistence. Simon touched on the importance of passion. Incredibly important. There is not one entrepreneurial success story out there without a passionate man or woman behind it. And that runs, it's a common DNA theme that runs through pretty much everybody I've met over the past few years and people I'm coming into contact now. That passion is there. And you know, to have passion, you've got to love what you're doing. And Simon loves film and what he's doing. He's got a great background. He knows what he's involved with. He's signing off on, big customer-facing decisions. He's right up there, and he wants to give his consumer the very best experience. From our perspective, we're shaving 1 million guys every day. We're making tens of millions of razor blades every year now. That whole area, it's got to deliver the king of shaves. If it doesn't, then I need to know about it, and I need to know why, and I'll respond to that. And willetshave.com finds me, and twitter.com/kingofshaves finds me, and I'll deal with that. But if that product piece and the passion and the persistence behind it, very important. Persistence, you've got to keep going. All right? It took 5 years for us to drive out of the valley of death with King of Shaves, to make a £100,000 loss into a £1,000 profit, and then where we are today. And many people give up early doors because they think, 3 months in, it's a bit harder than I thought it's going to be. Simon Cowell's been around for years, peddling his wares, being successful. And he's now leveraged the Cowell brand to a level where it's a mega brand. But he hasn't done that in the last 3 years, 6 years. He's been out in that space 20 years doing that. So it takes time. The attitude of action, that's simply walk the talk. You've got to start the walk with putting one foot in front of the other, and then have a positive mental attitude. And again, that comes back to the little satisfaction and success, rewarding yourself. If you believe you've got a great product, one of the people in the audience here has got a great breakfast product, which I enjoyed on a flight to Tokyo with Virgin just a couple of weeks ago, and enjoyed it so much that we met up before I came here to have a chat about his plans for his business, because it could be as big as Innocent, and I hope it will be.